good evening and welcome to Newswatch on the 3rd day of November 2020. Thank you for choosing Hope TV. My name is Teresia Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Let us get you briefed on news making headlines tonight. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is set to deliver this year's State of the Nation address in a joint parliamentary sitting on Thursday next week. In his communication to the House, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi notified all members that a special sitting of Parliament will take place on Thursday, 12th November 2020 at 2:30 p.m. in the National Assembly main chamber. The State of the Nation address is an annual requirement where the President is accorded the opportunity to address the nation on all the measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of national values. Our reporter Alice Diana tells us more.
4 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act 2015 and paragraph 5, 2 and 10.
Even as the country continues to grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic that has seen the country's economy greatly affected, Kenyans will be waiting to hear what the President has for them during his address to the nation next week.
Which do not concern counties.
The National Assembly Speaker, Justin Muturi, told members that he had received a message from the President dated 23rd October 2020, conveying that he intends to deliver the 2020 State of the Nation address to Parliament on Thursday, 12th November 2020. Speaker Muturi said the House attendance will be in compliance with the social distancing directives by the Health Ministry, with speakers of both National and Senate Assemblies making necessary arrangements to facilitate the special sitting of both houses. Kenyatta's address will come at a time the country is facing serious economic hurdles brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. Kenyatta's address, among others, will definitely touch on the pandemic, education and health crisis, and the quest for constitutional changes as proposed by the BBI. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Kenyatta will convene the 6th extraordinary session of the National and County Governments Coordinating Summit to review the resurgence of COVID-19 infections in the country. President Kenyatta last issued the State of the Nation address in April 2019. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
And the National Assembly says it will appeal the High Court decision that nullified 23 bills the House passed without the approval of the Senate. Speaker Ken Lusaka on Tuesday said to legislate business will be undertaken, by the House in the coming days, whether from the National Assembly or the Senate, pending a way forward on the decision contained in the High Court judgment by the High Court of Appeal. Some of the laws affected include the Computer Cyber Crime Act and Finance Act 2018.
Honourable members, as you may be aware, last week, specifically on the 29th of October, the High Court Constitutional Petition number 284 of 2019, as consolidated with Constitutional Petition number 353 of 2019, issued, amongst other orders, an order for cessation of consideration of all pending bills in both Houses of Parliament until the requirements of Article 110, Clause 3 of the Constitution is first fulfilled. The judgment also contains other related declaratory orders that shall have a direct implication on the legislative work of this House. Honourable members, consequently, on Friday, 30th of October 2020, the House Business Committee did meet and deliberate on the matter of the judgment and took a firm view that the judgment is unconstitutional, erroneous, and flawed in law. Honourable members, the House Business Committee in particular noted with grave concern that the court had misdirected and misapplied the Constitution on the following issues, amongst others. 1. The High Court failed to consider the architectural design of the bicameral parliamentary system under our Constitution, 2010. The Constitution has clearly set out the mandate of the two Houses of Parliament. Article 109 of the Constitution mandates the National Assembly exclusively to enact bills not concerning county governments without the participation of the Senate.
How long do I have? The appointment of 9 nominees appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta as High Commissioners, Ambassadors and Permanent Representatives. The chairman of the Departmental Committee of Defense and Foreign Relations, Kajiado South MP Kato Olemetito, while presenting a report before the floor of the House, said the committee vetted and approved the nominees. The ambassadors and high commissioners include John Tipis, High Commissioner, Canberra, Australia; Immaculate Wambua, High Commissioner, Ottawa, Canada; Catherine Mwangi, High Commissioner, Pretoria, South Africa; Martin Kimani, Permanent Representative to the United Nations, New York; Jean Kimani, PS, UN Habitant, Nairobi; Tom Omolo, Ambassador, Berlin, Germany; Linz Kiptines, Ambassador, Bangkok, Thailand; Daniel Wambora, Ambassador, Bujumbura, Burundi; and Stella Munyi, Ambassador, Harare, Zimbabwe.
To Ms. Immaculate Wambua, Station Ottawa. 3, Ambassador Catherine Mwangi, Station Pretoria. B, Ambassadors. 4, Ambassador Martin Kimani, United Nations in New York; Ambassador Jean Kimani, UN Habitat, Nairobi; Ambassador Jean Kamau, Station Addis Ababa; Mr. Lindsay Kiptines, Station Bangkok; Ambassador Tom Omolo, Station Berlin; Ambassador Lemaron Kanto, Station Bangkok; Ambassador Tom Omolo, Station Berlin; Ambassador Lemaron Kanto,
We apologize for that technical hitch. And Kerugoya High Court Judge Janet Mulwa has ordered the Director of Criminal Investigation, DCI, George Kinoti, to appear at the Kerugoya High Court on November 24, 2020, to explain why he should not be sentenced for disobeying a court order. This is after Kirinyaga businessman Patrick Njiru filed an application seeking to have Kinoti jailed for 6 months for contempt of court for failing to release his 2 lorries and sugar packaging machines worth 46 million Kenya shillings from the DCI headquarters in Nairobi, as directed by Justice Lucy Gitari on May 2, 2020. DCI officers had impounded 1,260 bags of suspected illegal sugar in 2018 and requested the businessman to use his 2 vehicles to transport the sugar, only for them to be detained.
There's really nothing pending substantively to be determined by the Honorable Lady Justice Gitari for the file to be placed before her. She made a finding that they are guilty, DCI is guilty. She made a finding that the DCI pays 90,000 shillings for each day that they hold the vehicle until the vehicle is released. She made a finding that the DCI pays 22 million shillings for the machine. So really there's nothing that substantively needs to be argued before the Honorable Lady Justice Gitari. What the applicant sought before this court is having the DCI having failed to comply with those orders, has been found guilty, has been ordered to surrender the vehicle, has been ordered to pay the amount in question. All this the DCI has not done. What is the fate of the order that the applicant now holds? Is it a useless piece of paper? Which other door can the applicant go and knock? And that's why he has come before you, my lady, to ask the court that all these having been disobeyed, sentence the DCI to 6 months imprisonment That is the only option remaining in law.
I further direct that the DCIO and the DCI do present himself personally before this court to show cause why he should not be committed to civil jail for failure to obey the court orders dated the 29th of May 2020 on a date that we're going to agree right now.
And the High Court has suspended the hearing of Malindi MP Aisha Jumwa and her co-accused Geoffrey Okuto in a murder case facing them to February 2021. Judge Ongio said that the prosecution is planning to call in about 30 witnesses to testify against her. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution had earlier approved a murder and assault charges against Jumwa over the fatal shooting of Gumbao Jola during the Ganda ward by-election in 2018. Mark Kimondo reports.
Malindi Member of Parliament Aisha Jumwa and her co-accused Geoffrey Okuto had appeared before the Mombasa court for mention of a murder charge case. However, in a session that lasted for about 3 minutes, the court gave the lawmaker with her bodyguard 3 months to appear before defense against 30 witnesses in murder charge case. Judge Anne Onginjo mentioned 2nd, 3rd and 4th of February 2021 as the preferred days of the first official hearing of the case, with 4 witnesses expected to give their accounts in every day of court hearing, after which the court will give the dates of the subsequent hearing of the same case. Jumwa and Okuto are accused of shooting 48-year-old Gumbao Jola in Ganda village on October 15, 2019. During the Ganda ward by-election, Gumbao, who was the uncle to the current MC Ruben Katana, died upon arrival at Malindi General Hospital. Initially, Jumwa and her co-accused were arrested and released on cash bail by Mombasa court after spending 6 days in Mombasa police station, with the High Court Judge Njoki Mwangi saying there were no compelling reasons to continue holding the accused in remand. However, Mombasa's Assistant Director of Public Prosecutor Alois Kemo had opposed the release of accused persons on bail, claiming that Jumwa is an influential person and she would interfere with the prosecution witnesses. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, ODPP, approved murder and assault charges against Malindi Member of Parliament Aisha Jumwa over the fatal shooting of Gumbao Jola. Mark Kimondo for Hope TV.
And former Prime Minister Raila Odinga on Tuesday toured West Pokot County, accompanied by Area Governor John Lonyangapuo and his Kakamega counterpart Wycliffe Oparanya. Odinga spent part of his day with the congregation at Dini ya Roho Church in the 8th anniversary of their registration, after which he addressed residents of West Pokot on issues regarding the BBI. This even as Deputy President William Ruto announced scaling down of his public functions due to the upsurge in COVID-19 cases. Ruto said the surge strongly indicates that a second wave is looming, thus suspending his empowerment meetings that were slated for this weekend in Machakos, Kitui, and Makueni. And the government is solving the historical land question in the country through the intensified issuance of the deeds. This is according to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who spoke in Nairobi, where he expressed satisfaction that over 5 million title deeds have been issued to Kenyans since his administration came to office in 2013. Dickens Luvanda tells us more.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has kicked off the issuance of 10,000 title deeds to residents of Samburu County at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi County. Besides individual landowners and group ranches, the government seeks to issue title deeds for community land in the largely pastoral county and across the country so as to address disputes arising out of its use, with the Kenyatta saying that his administration is gradually fulfilling the promise given to Kenyans.
Tunaendelea polepole kutimiza ahadi ambazo tulipatia wananchi wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Na mimi nakumbuka mwaka wa 2013 nikiambia Wakenya ya kwamba hatutaki tena kuendelea kuongea juu la swala la ardhi. Tunataka kulete suluhu ya ardhi, na ndio wananchi waweze kuendelea na maisha yao, na pamoja na wao tuweze kupanua uchumi wetu.
To boost the wildlife conservation agenda in the country, President Kenyatta also issued a title deed for the 119,000-acre Masai Mara National Reserve to the county government of Narok, where the park lies, as 2 other title deeds were issued to the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife for the 2,000-acre parcel of land earmarked for the expansion of the Nairobi National Park and the 155 acres Nairobi City Park. Also issued was the title deed for the 50-acre Naivasha Special Economic Zone, which was handed over to the county government of Nakuru.
Tunataka kulete watu wakuje wafanye investments katika taifa letu la Kenya. Tukiwa pamoja na Waziri Maina hapa, tunatembea tukiambia watu wakuje. Lakini sana sana kilio ni hakuna shamba, ama shamba inauzwa bei ya kali. So sasa tumesema kama ni hapo Naivasha, wananchi wa Naivasha tumewampatia katika hapo ambapo tumejenga stesheni ya reli, na ambapo tunataka kufanya an inland container depot hapo. Tunataka pia tuwe na viwanda na biashara. Na ndipo tunasema tumepatia Nakuru County pia eka 50 waweze kugawanya, wananchi wa Nakuru wenyewe waweze kujenga vibanda vya kuuza chai na nini na mahoteli, lakini pia waweze kutenga kiwango cha ardhi cha kulete wafadhili ambao watakuja waweke rasilimali yao, waweke pesa yao, wajenge mafactory, vijana wetu jameni wapate kazi.
At the same event, President Kenyatta flagged off 75 locally assembled vehicles for the National Titling Program, vehicles that will be distributed to all the 60 land registries across the country to boost the titling program. On the locally assembled vehicles, Kenyatta encouraged county governments to give priority to locally manufactured products as a way of creating employment for the youth.
Hizi magari zimekuwa assembled hapa, zimehakikisha pia wakati zinaundwa vijana wetu wako kazini, na wakati zimeisha zitaenda sasa kuwezesha maofisa wetu wa serikali ya kitaifa na pia serikali zetu za ungatuzi kuweza kufikia wananchi katika kila kona.
Also present at the event were Land CS Farida Karonei and Nakuru Governor Ali Kinyanjui, who is also the chairperson of the Council of Governors Committee on Urban Development, Planning, Lands and Energy. Deacon Sulvanda, Hope TV News.
And let's take our first commercial break. We have much more news coming up, so keep it Hope TV.
Welcome to Rafiki Gardens along Kangondo Road by Optiven. This is an ideal and affordable piece of investment that is strategically placed within the Nairobi metropolis. Rafiki Gardens is close to key social amenities like schools, banks, and shopping malls. This project comes with ready title deeds, Maram roads, and a marking fence round the property. Get a plot at only 695,000 Kenya shillings cash price. You can also pay a 50% deposit and pay the rest in 6 months installments. Call us today on 0702 8310 83 or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Events, news, Africa, the world. Our past, our future. Catch all this and more on Africa's Moment with Pete Ondeng.
Is there really a future of hope for Africa? To believe or not to believe, that is the question. Who holds the key to Africa's escape from the dungeons of poverty and backwardness?
Every Wednesday, right here on Hope TV at 8 p.m.
Angry president, a betrayed deputy president, and a burdened citizen.
The spirit of BBI, we are losing it. How do we end up with immoral people leading the moral?
Candid Talk.
At the core of our being, we are spiritual.
How should the church at this particular time show leadership?
As long as God is not done with us, or He's not pleased with our repentance or our turning to Him, we may still continue suffering the consequences.
Bold approach.
Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth is loose. Become a son. Your life and your well-being is completely dependent on God and His power.
Spotlight. Join John Carson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, He rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, He wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Carson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Hope TV. Now, the BBI report has received a boost after West Pokot Governor Professor John Lonyangapuo led a consultative meeting with West Pokot stakeholders, including elders, women and youths, after which they declared their full support for the BBI. The team spoke at Kishaunet grounds where they appealed to the government to ensure wide circulation of the document, including translating it to different languages for Kenyans from all communities to read and understand it. Lonyangapuo, however, raised concerns over some clauses in the BBI, saying small parties without presidential candidates and governors should not lose nominations under the BBI, saying this should be amended to safeguard the interests of such parties.
West Pokot residents support the BBI report. However, we wish to make the following recommendations to make it better. 1. That copies of the BBI report be widely circulated among the Kenyans, the entire Kenyan population. 2. That the report be translated to different languages for ease of readability in the whole country. Number 3. That the report be presented in different vernacular radio stations in the whole country for proper understanding of the report. 4, that all communities be included in this process of constitutional amendment, including minority communities.
Now, a lobby group in Nairobi has faulted the Building Bridges Initiative BBI Select Committee, accusing its members of failing to factor in proposals that the group presented during public hearings last year. The group, dubbed J Network, says the committee did not consider issues of over-representation in parliament, bloated executive, gender representation, among other issues burdening the taxpayer. Led by its chairman, Callistus Wafula, and national coordinator, Anne Thuku, the lobby group has urged Kenyans to strongly oppose the BBI referendum calls, saying the document is being used by a few politicians to ensure they remain in power for as long as they want.
We are overrepresented with duplication of roles. BBI was to help to form an affordable government for taxpayers. We've noted that the public funds and resources, we as J Network team, we insisted to the BBI team that one, they look into the diversification of funds without structures. And we proposed money be channeled through county government and executive ministries where there are structures. This was not followed.
We insisted and we emphasized on the issue of overrepresentation. We are suffering as Kenyans. Kenya is literally on its deathbed. This is because we are overrepresented. This is apart from the huge public wage bill that we are having to contend with as Kenyans. So when we have loans to pay, we have a huge wage bill to contend with, and then we also have overrepresentation. Then we think that Kenyans are indeed being taken for a ride. There is no way the few of us who live below $0.25 a day can be able to, go out there and carry all that baggage on our backs. We want to therefore call upon each and every Kenyan from whichever corner they are to reject this document unless it is made to be pro-Wanjiku, because currently it is not. Yes. Thank you.
We have to reduce political positions so that we talk about inclusivity on the available positions. Even the two-third gender rule, we are not opposing two-third gender rule. It can be implemented on the available positions, not creating more positions. Right now we have accumulated numerous benefit to political seats. That's why we compromise election when people want to take advantage of the resources and government money. And then we also propose on how to deal with the corruption cases. We just need to fund judiciary so that we get more judges than the BBI are proposing for us to have more politicians so that they continue making noise.
And on COVID-19 matters, on COVID-19 numbers today, 492 people have tested positive for the virus from a sample size of 3,728 tested in the last 24 hours. This brings to 57,093 the number of confirmed positive cases in the country. Cumulative tests are now at 708,333. From the cases, 474 are Kenyans, while 18 are foreigners. On a positive note, 404 patients have recovered from the disease, 246 from the home-based care program, while 158 have been discharged from various hospitals. Total recoveries now stand at 37,846. Unfortunately, 12 patients have succumbed to the disease, bringing the fatality to 1,039. In terms of county distribution, Nairobi County leads with 226, followed by Mombasa with 70, Kiambu 34, Machakos 22, Kajiado 17, Uasin Gishu 16, Kwale 13, Kilifi 11, Meru 11, Nakuru 9, Laikipia 7, Kisumu 7, Mandera 7, Samburu 6, Nakuru 4, Nyeri 3, Murang'a 3, Vihiga 3, Kericho 3, and Kakamega 2. And the rising cases of COVID-19, especially in schools, continues to cause alarm among parents and education stakeholders, especially after after Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha ruled out possibilities of closing schools that were reopened. However, a pediatrician in Nairobi says COVID-19 infections in children are not as severe as they present themselves in adults. Grace Wangoi had a chat with the doctor and prepared for us this report.
Ahead of President Uhuru Kenyatta's 6th extraordinary summit to discuss the way forward in regards to COVID-19, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha, addressing journalists on Monday, mentioned that only after the meeting will the Ministry of Education charter a way forward for learners who are yet to report to school. The CS further added that school-going children were better off in school than at home as they are able to observe Ministry of Health guidelines, including wearing of masks. Remarks that Dr. Christine Shege, a pediatric infectious disease specialist, supports, saying that the COVID-19 is and will remain here with us. Further adding that since younger children will have a challenge staying with their masks on, the ministry should work around ways to ensure that children remain safe, regardless of this fact.
What we need to do is allow the children to go back to school in a phased way and ensure that we've put the measures in place. Have water stations for them to wash their hands with soap and water, and encourage the older children to wear masks. The younger children, we are lying to ourselves if we think they will wear masks. They are not going to wear masks. So we need to come up with a policy and agree. If we are going to send these children back to school, the younger population below 10 years, we will allow them to go without masks.
From the onset, it was identified that persons with underlying conditions, especially those with suppressed immune systems, were the ones prone to having severe effects when they contract the virus. The same applies for children. However, Dr. Shege says there have been few cases where the virus exhibits severe effects even for those with respiratory conditions like asthma. She explains that in children, COVID-19 symptoms are similar to those of a normal cold, which is also common among younger children.
Coronavirus infection, COVID-19 in children, mostly manifests as just a common cold, virtually indistinguishable from the other common colds.
Mentioning that she has encountered a couple of patients with the COVID-19 virus, the pediatrician says everyone should take personal initiative to protect themselves and others, including teachers, who are now part of frontline caregivers as the country continues to stare into a second wave of the disease.
For the teachers, wear your masks. Put the social distancing measures in place. Monitor yourself. Most of us will get the coronavirus infection and it will just come as a common cold and pass. A few, unfortunately, will get pneumonia, but the symptoms are there. You'll have difficulty in breathing. Go to hospital. Get yourself checked. Don't allow the stigma.
Grace Wangoi, Hope TV News Watch.
The County Assembly of Kilifi has been closed for 2 weeks after a member of staff tested positive for COVID-19. The County Assembly Speaker Jimmy Kahindi said the move was a precautionary measure to prevent further exposure to the disease after it emerged that the affected employee mingled with colleagues during the burial of another staff member last weekend. Speaking during a press briefing, Kahindi said members of the County Assembly and staff have been advised to undergo COVID-19 testing, calling on staff and MCAs to isolate themselves for at least 14 days as they work from home.
We have advised the members of staff to go into self-quarantine, and where possible they must also carry out tests which are freely done at our General Hospital in Malindi. We have communicated to the members of the County Assembly as well because the staff who tested positive, it's been proved that he mingled with the members of staff who in turn mingled with members of the County Assembly. So I think it's an issue that we all need to take it seriously. And for now, we just hope that the virus will not spread more.
We shall be working from home. We are going to do a press release whereby the members of public will know where to contact us, just in case there's anything that needs our attention. We shall make it public.
Everybody is encouraged to go and test. If they will not test, at least they should quarantine, because now we really don't know who could have caught it from him or from anyone else.
Now, the county government of Busia has dispatched a team of medical officers to Salvation Army Kolanya Boys High School to contain the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. This follows a random test carried out at the school where out of 100 tests carried out, 60 cases tested positive. Of the 60, 52 were students, 6 teachers and 2 were support staff. Addressing the press outside the county headquarters, Busia Governor Sospita Ojamong said the positive cases have been isolated within the school and medical staff deployed to manage them, adding that the rest of the school fraternity has been quarantined in the school since the first case was diagnosed in April 2020. Busia has reported a total of 1,683 positive cases out of 75,564 tests carried out. And Mombasa County Commissioner, Gilbert Kitio, has led traffic officers in cracking down motorists that are not complying to the laid down COVID-19 protocols. According to the commissioner, Mombasa has continued to record high cases of COVID-19, hence the need to be more careful.
Ni kitu ambaye imeenda juu zaidi. Na hizo vifo pia imeshtua. Vifo 94 sio mchezo. Hii exercise tumeifanya kwa sababu ile statistics ambayo tuko nayo saa hii hapa Mombasa inaonyesha kwamba hospitali zetu zimejaa, especially zile za dharura ya COVID-19. Na tungependa watu wengi zaidi wapate hiyo ugonjwa na watupatie pressure hata zaidi.
The county government of Siaya has launched a new 200-bed COVID-19 isolation facility, with local leaders announcing a new raft of measures aimed at containing the second wave of infections. Speaking during the official opening of the facility at the County Referral Hospital, Siaya Governor Cornel Rasanga announced the immediate suspension of funeral night vigils to avoid crowding. Rasanga said the County Emergency Response Committee had observed that the strict enforcement of the order will see the number of infections come down and called on the public to support the move. Rasanga further cautioned the transport industry and the boda against disregarding of COVID-19 rules, saying that any matatu or motorcycle found flaunting COVID-19 regulations will be impounded and have their licenses withdrawn.
These 3 new isolation facilities shall enhance our capability to manage the soaring numbers of infections in the county. While it gives me great pleasure to open this magnificent COVID-19 isolation unit today, I must emphasize that isolation is the last thing we want to do to our people as a county. With the completion of this unit together with other units in Bond and Ambira, let me report that Siaya County now has cumulative isolation bed capacity of 366. Of these, 3 beds are for intensive care unit. The county has now also 6 ventilators.
And across borders, Ivory Coast's President Alassane Ouattara has won a controversial 3rd term in office in an election boycotted by the opposition. He took 94% of the votes even after winning 99% in some of his strongholds. Turnout was put at almost 54%. The result has to be confirmed by the Constitutional Council. And on Monday, the Ivorian opposition said it was creating a transitional government which would organize a new election. Main opposition candidates Pascal Affi and Henry Konan had urged their supporters not to vote. They got 1% and 2% respectively, with a 4th candidate, Berlin, also getting 2% according to the official results. We take another short break. Business and sports news is still on the way, so stay tuned.
Wake up every morning
I shall arise
with refreshing worship playlist.
So come we're ready for your presence. Till there's only you, Jesus. Amen.
And powerful nuggets of God's word.
His mercies begin afresh each morning.
We had pressed from every side, but we are not crushed.
Right place. We desire to be in the sweet space.
The place of praising, the place of singing lips.
Only on Hope Devotion.
Hope TV is where you look and live, offering some of the best family entertainment programs with Christian movies, in-depth discussions, contemporary Christian worship, and testimony programs. Hope TV provides the life-transforming message of Jesus Christ. We deliver inspirational, informational, and motivational programming with special guests and unmatched teaching. When it comes to watching television, tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. And in business news, Sanlam Life and Minet Kenya have launched an innovative post-retirement insurance product dubbed RetireMed, which is designed to assist Kenyans to save for their medical expenses in retirement. The product will provide medical insurance coverage for insurance consumers aged 55 years old and above, allowing them to maximize their pension benefits. Speaking during the launch, Retirement Benefits Authority CEO Nzomo Mutuku lauded the introduction of the product in the market as it addresses a clear gap from a retiree's perspective, which is access to quality healthcare in the golden years. Minet Kenya Managing Director Sami Mudhui, on his part, noted that the contributions are inclusive and can target a specific level of medical cover at retirement.
The key reason behind why we are here today is because once we retire, all of us who are working, and by the way, working means self-employed and also formally employed, or rather employed, corporate employment, self-employment. What happens is once we get to retire, whatever medical scheme we have with our employer gets to secede. So the need for health insurance and health coverage is that much more when you retire. And that's the time many medical private health insurance products in the market will exclude you, will exclude us, and will exclude a lot of those conditions.
Sanlam Life is going to underwrite the product, is going to be the fund manager for the product, ensuring that funds are available in future years for our retirees to procure medical cover. This cover is available for people who are between 18 and 59 years of age.
Cabinet Secretaries Betty Maina of Trade and Fred Matiang'i of Interior today led a government delegation on the initializing of the Kenya-UK Economic Partnership Agreement. The agreement will ensure all companies operating in Kenya, including British business, can continue to benefit from duty-free access as they export products, including vegetables and flowers, to their customers back in the UK. Once fully implemented, Matiang'i said the partnership safeguards Kenya's trade interests post-Brexit. The agreement will be formally signed shortly once it has been subjected to checks.
This is a milestone. The achievement that we announced today is a very big step in enhancing trade between Kenya and the UK. which are countries that have enjoyed a very strong relationship and partnership that has lasted over probably a century. The next steps are that we hope, and we will work so hard through the teams that we have to keep the deadline of the end of this year to have the agreement finally signed and completed. I'd like to make two points that I think are critical. One is to our private sector and to our East African partners that Kenya remains a faithful partner that is interested in working with the others in the region to strengthen trade between us and the UK.
When fully implemented, it will deliver significant economic and social benefits to Kenya and its partners in this region. The agreement that we have reached today will deepen the EAC integration because our parties, and Kenya has signed this initially with the United Kingdom.
As the Minister for Africa, James Duddridge, said in the ceremony just now, the UK welcomes the very swift progress that has been made towards a UK-Kenya trade agreement.
The government of Kenya and Trademark East Africa, TMEA, have signed a grant agreement amounting to 1.31 billion Kenya shillings to support construction of 4 infrastructure projects in Mombasa, Malaba, and Busia. Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury and Planning, Ukur Yatani, and TMEA Chief Operating Officer David Stanton signed on behalf of their respective institutions. The specific projects covered by the agreement are construction of the proposed Busia Jumuiya cross-border market, construction of the road that links to Busia one-stop border posts from Busia town, construction of Magongo Road in Mombasa, and completion of pending works at Malaba one-stop border post.
For grant agreement, approximately 1.31 billion Kenya shilling we've just signed will facilitate trade and unlock the economic growth of Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and to a wider extent the Democratic Republic of Congo, given that this investment is in critical infrastructure. If I may just break down the doubling of the Magongo Road, where 200 million has been spent to this effect, will form an important link to transit cargo leaving the Mombasa port or container freight station to join Northern Transport Corridor. This will alleviate congestion by increasing the road capacity.
This is part of a wider support that Trademark has been delighted to offer the government of Kenya over several years since our launch of Trademark in 2010. And we absolutely support the government of Kenya's vision of trade, industrialization, economic growth and job creation.
Thank you.
And in the world of sports, English Premier League went underway last night as Jamie Vardy and Yuri Tillman scored twice as Leicester City enjoyed an impressive 4-1 win at Leeds United, which moves them up to second in the Premier League. Elsewhere, Fulham secured their first Premier League win at the season as they beat West Brom to move out of the bottom 3. This and more in our sports roundup with Joseph Maingi.
Yuri Tillman struck twice as Leicester recorded an emphatic win at Leeds to move within a point of Premier League leaders Liverpool. Jimmy Vardy was involved in Fox's first 3 goals, tilling in Harvey Barnes within 2 minutes for the opener after a costly mistake by Robin Koch. Elsewhere, Bobby de Cordova headed Scott Parker's side ahead from cross range after Alcazar Mitrovic cushioned header had set him up. The host doubled the lead 4 minutes later, and Mitrovic was again involved as he laid the ball off from Ola Aina, who struck spectacularly from the 20th yard. Fulham next will play a London derby against West Ham on Saturday before West Brom plays Tottenham on Sunday. And the UEFA Champions League makes a comeback this evening. Atletico Madrid will be looking to make it to back-to-back victories in the Champions League or when they travel to Russia to face off with Lokomotiv Moscow. Shakhtar Donetsk will be at home to host Borussia Mönchengladbach in Group B in the Champions League, with both sides looking to remain unbeaten after a promising start in the competition. Ajax of Amsterdam will be looking to win their first Champions League match this season when they face Midtjylland. Elsewhere, Red Bull Salzburg host Bayern Munich in Group A of the Champions League, with the Australian side looking to record their first win of the campaign against the reigning champions. In Spain, Real Madrid will be looking for their first Champions League victory of the season when they welcome Inter Milan at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium. In Italy, two of the European most entertaining teams will go head-to-head tonight when Atalanta welcomes Liverpool at the Guerish Stadium in Bergamo. In England, Manchester City will be looking to maintain their perfect start in the Champions League when they welcome Greek giants Olympiacos at the Etihad. The citizens eased to a 3-0 victory over Marseille in their most recent European fixture, while Olympiacos suffered a 2-0 defeat against Portuguese champion Porto on the match day 2. Joseph Maingi, Newswatch Sports.
And it's a wrap for Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. My name is Teresia Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night and God bless you.